Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living. I want to talk to you about a couple of things really quick. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of preaching or anything like that to you. I find it very interesting in the amount of division that there is in the country now. I travel a little bit for work, so I go through several states and regions. And you can see, obviously, in the background, I'm in a hotel room. And I look at these things and I notice these things and I kind of file them away and you know, I mention them to my people, you know, my friends, my group, some of the guys on Patreon. There is an incredible amount of division, and it's being made, it is being crafted to do exactly that, to divide. It's just like splitting a firewood hunk. You take the wedge and you drive it in. It's a small crack and a small crack, and you force and force and force, and it splits. That's physics. You know, the amount of force that's applied to an object and the amount of resistance, you know, the amount of force that's applied exceeds the amount of resistance, and you know, you have two pieces of kindling instead of one piece of firewood. But you know, that is just an example. There's so much fear, to me, it seems, out there that people are promoting on channels and groups and all this different stuff about do this and do this, and we're going to show you how to make a fire that doesn't smoke so much so your neighbors won't know that you're cooking. And that's just kind of weird. And who knows, maybe I could be wrong, but I doubt I am. And then, you know, do this so you can make your well pump the water quietly so no one will know that you have water, or covert ways to get rainwater off of your roof so no one will know. To me, that's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And the people who promote this stuff, you know, 15 ways to make your generator quiet so no one can hear you when the zombies come. Perhaps instead of learning how to make a fire that doesn't create a lot of smoke so your neighbors don't know you're cooking, well, perhaps you should teach your neighbors how to do the good things. Teach them the how to do this. Teach them how to do this, how to prepare, how to set aside. Well, Darren, they're not receptive. Well, you're a poor teacher. You are not teaching to the level that they need to be taught to. I'm a poor teacher because I'm not teaching to the level that a lot of people need to be taught to. Myself. Instead of doing all of this to do the underground covert stuff, and there's nothing wrong to a degree, perhaps you should just go tell your neighbor, hey, if something ever happens, you come knock on my door and we'll get everything figured out. And if a tree falls on your garage, you let me know and I'll do something. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something to help you out. I might just give you a cup of coffee if that's all I can do. I mean, I have a chainsaw or something, but instead of doing all the things that we are talked about and accused of, maybe we should just help. And I know a lot of people do. Some don't. I do not agree with this mentality of keeping everything quiet and underground, and I believe you should let them know. Something ever happens, you let me know, and I'll be happy to help you. And but I'm not a pushover either, because even my neighbors here recently have complained to me. They've actually complained. They said, "Why do you walk around with a gun?" Well, because I'm on my own property, and God gave me that right. Constitution does not give me that right. I don't care about the Constitution as far as that goes. I have the right to take care of my family, whether it's with a stick or a rock or a gun. And I exercise that right very publicly when I'm on my property. And my neighbor had mentioned that, and I said, absolutely, do it all the time. I said, and actually I have. I've carried a gun legally since I was 15. You have to ask me about that sometime, because it's actually illegal to do that unless you go through certain routes, corners. But I would say, instead of being secretive and covert and undercover, when it comes up that there was a thunderstorm and the tree came down across the driveway, and you helped them cut the tree down and move it out so they could get to work or get to the grocery store, get to the doctor, or go see their mama to check on them, then they start to think, well, that was kind of handy that he had the chainsaw and he had the fuel and the oil and everything like that. I think we are doing a disservice to ourselves, and all these big super monster channels can say differently. I think we are doing a big disservice to ourselves by being covert and quiet and saying, well, when something happens, we will go to our cabin in the woods, all that crap. We will slip off to the woods, and we will, take our 100-pound bag and give our kids their 60-pound bags and whatever, and give them the wagon to pull and all that crap. Because while it reads good in a book, and it might look good on a TV screen, it just don't work. That's the way it is. So instead of doing all the stuff on the side, there's nothing wrong with exhibiting force and showing people how to do things and saying, of course you're not going to come try to take anything, because that would be foolish. That's a loss of resources for you, because it is a negative gain. Read into that what you will. Instead of doing all that stuff, teach them how to do it. And you don't have to teach it like you teach it. Okay, class, let's eyes front, sit down. You don't have to do all that. Teach the how. Teach the how. Instead of learning how to build a Dakota fire pit that doesn't smoke so your neighbors won't know you're cooking. Teach them how to set aside food. They may not be that receptive. And that's okay, because you tried. And then you can take the other avenues. But all of this other stuff, the prepper porn and the fear mongering and everything like that, is silly and stupid. And it sells. And I know it sells. And that's why these people have 5-6 million subscribers. And it's okay. And they will sell you that little plastic knife that you can fold up and stick in your wallet, won't they? Because they have. Instead of trying to be deceptive, do the good things and teach the how.